If you picture an advertising campaign, you might imagine something like this: a giant, glowing billboard in the middle of Times Square, shouting a brand name to millions of people walking by. It feels like the ultimate goal of marketing is simply to get as many eyeballs on your product as possible. But paying for raw, untargeted attention is incredibly expensive, and mostly it results in wasted budget. Modern digital advertising does not rely on shouting into a crowd. It is a calculated process of buying targeted data to engineer a profitable return on investment. To build that targeted system, we are pulling card 48 from the daily planning draw. We are going to look at the specific mechanics required to turn advertising from a leaky expense account into a predictable machine that converts strangers into profit. The card opens with a rule from advertising legend Leo Burnett. Make it simple, make it memorable, make it inviting to look at, make it fun to read. A common mistake beginners make is treating an ad like a high-pressure sales pitch. Think of it more like a first interaction at a coffee shop. You just want to say hello and see if they are interested. If you immediately ask for a major commitment, you will scare them away. If your design is cluttered or your copy is hard to parse, that first touchpoint causes friction. When an audience gets confused, they scroll past, and you lose that potential customer immediately. A successful ad doesn't try to close the deal right there in the feed. It only needs to be clear and inviting enough to get the viewer to take one small step forward into your larger system. Once you have an inviting message, subject it to strict mathematical limits. This digital infographic breaks down the rules of profitability. Look at the golden scale. On the right is customer acquisition cost. On the left is lifetime value. Only deploy a campaign when the lifetime value exceeds the acquisition cost. If you spend $40 to acquire a customer who only ever generates $30 in profit, your campaign isn't an investment. It is a mathematical guarantee that you will lose money on every sale. This green loop highlights retargeting. Consumer data shows it takes 7 distinct product encounters before a person commits to a purchase. Build a system that captures interest early and serves follow-up ads. Over on the right, the green line graph illustrates diminishing returns, which happens when you pour more money into a successful ad. Think of it like eating pizza. The first slice is satisfying, but by the 10th, the value drops to 0. The same happens with your ad spend. As you pump more money into the same audience, you exhaust the pool of buyers. Costs go up, but conversions flatten out. A highly profitable campaign requires the patience to guide users through 7 touchpoints, combined with the discipline to stop increasing your budget the moment that return curve starts to drop. Let's put this into practice. Grab a notebook and bring to mind the specific business project you are working on. We are going to look at the prompts at the bottom of the physical card. I want you to pause this video, choose one of these 2 questions on the screen, and spend 5 minutes writing out exactly how you will make that strategic decision for your next campaign. Now, looking at that first question, you might wonder how to test platforms and messaging without burning your entire marketing budget. Look at the beaker icon in the bottom left of the infographic. The strict rule of data-driven experimentation is to act like a scientist. You run a micro-budget and you isolate exactly one variable at a time, maybe just the headline or just the image. You hold everything else stable. Once the data shows you which single element performs best, you lock it in, and then you slowly scale your spend. You now have the 4 mechanical pillars of a high-value ad campaign. You have the strict LTV to CAC ratio, a simple and inviting creative hook, a retargeting loop designed for 7 touchpoints, and a clear boundary to maximize value before diminishing returns kick in. Amateurs treat advertising as an expense, throwing cash at random graphics and hoping someone buys. By locking in these 4 metrics, you are building a system that mathematically ensures a return on your investment. Before we finish, consider this final constraint. If your budget only allowed you to reach exactly 100 perfect ideal customers, what is the single most important thing your ad must say to them? Dial in those numbers, refine that message, and your advertising becomes predictable revenue. We'll see you in the next draw.